hop in the whip and I hit these switches. See that chrome suspension. Look at the car, you know who did it. I don't have to mention. They know it's Alex.
What's up and good morning, guys? How are you? We are back with another video for you guys. My name is Alex. I'm from Hoppo's, and we got the crew running around here somewhere. We are back from a crazy weekend over at King of the Hammers. We went out there Friday, Saturday, came back Sunday, and it was an absolute success. We had a great time out there, I gotta say that. I do gotta give a big thank you to Fern's Semi Famous Barbecue, also fernsjerky.com. Also a big thank you to Blake Wilkie and his whole crew, and the whole Shreddy crew, the whole Terror crew. Big thank you to all you guys for the hospitality and for letting me join in and wrench on some of the good times we had. We are back here at work with another day and another video for you guys, because today we got something special. We are having a vehicle here that we did 13 years ago. 13 years ago. We actually did a video on this guy 4 years ago, sorry, and he was doing his, pretty much he came in for a checkup. And we did a video, I mean, I'll kind of show it right here, I'll show it right here. Right there, yeah, that video. We did that video, we showed it 4 years ago, just showing a little reaction. We were doing some kind of maintenance and some checkup on it, and well, it is back. I would just realize I was standing here when I could stand here, or I could walk over to the vehicle and show you guys what's going on. Here it is back. It looks like we got somebody pulling up over there, but this is it. This guy came back in here. We did this thing 13 years ago. We did it on Air Ride, and well, he had nothing but great luck with this thing, and everything was working great until recently, where he went in to get some maintenance done, but now he's having a whole bunch of issues where the car isn't really working like it used to. So now we gotta go in and figure out what happened, why is it not working and functioning properly, and why he's having issues, because this thing was working flawlessly for 13 years and now he's having issues. So our goal today is to pretty much run through it, do a full system check on it, and figure out what in the world happened. Why is it having this issue? So let's jump in this thing. We're gonna get this thing fired up and get this thing in the shop. First things first, let's get this guy fired up real quick. All right, well, he said it fired right up. There we go. Now it fired up. All right, let's get this guy warmed up here. And sounds like we got compressors already kicking on. He is using one of the Slam switch boxes here. And we're in park. Well, the setup still looks good. Looks like we got Vire 444, Vire 444, dual 5-gallon tanks. Compressor's not running, so that's a good sign. All right, let's just test its functions here. All right, it's this way. So you got back up, back down. That's working. Compressor's kicked on. That's good. What I'm showing right now is pretty much how we're gonna figure out how we're gonna diagnose what's going on here. We're gonna test the functionality of everything. We're gonna make sure that wiring is all correct, making sure that none of the hoses over time have got pinched and hit, or any type of debris from driving hit it. It's been 13 years. That's a long time for the system to be working. So I know he said he changed out the bags a few years ago, maybe a year ago or so. So he made it a very long time, even with the bags that we did. But now he seems to be having a lot more issues ever since he went for his checkup. So we're gonna figure out what's going on here. First thing we're gonna do is just check functionality of everything. So front down. So left's going down, right's going down, right up. Left seems like the muffler's closed down a lot. Oh yeah. Yeah, mufflers must be closed up weird on the left front. It's going down crooked. Yeah, it seems like only right side's triggering. Sure if it's a muffler issue to where the muffler's too tight or too closed off, to where the car's not really allowing the left driver's side to go down, but it seems like seems like I'm hearing clicking. Yeah, I'm hearing clicking on the down. And the up is working individually. Yeah, down. Up has a little click, so front right. Everything's clicking, so that sounds good. So let's just figure out what's going on here. We're gonna get this thing in the shop real quick, let the compressor cycle, and get it into its spot to where we could go through and just do a full system check on it.
Usher on the track.
Alright, so what we're going to do on this as far as a full system check, we're going to start off from the front of the vehicle. We're going to work our way all the way to the back. First thing we're going to do is obviously we check the functionality of everything. It is going up, it is going down, the compressors are pumping, the tanks are holding, the PSI switch is working because it did turn on and turn off on us. So that means everything's working as far as that. We're going to work our way from the front side all the way to the back, and we're just going to check everything in between there. What we're going to do first is pretty much just a visual inspect. Just check, making sure we got his battery cable, which obviously we installed this 13 years ago. Making sure all this is tight, breaker's tight. Looks like that is a little bit loose, so we could use to tighten that up. Another thing I noticed, it looks like someone chopped in some airline at one point. Let's see. And obviously this is going to get hot over time with the headers being less than 2 fingers away. So it looks like somebody moved all this stuff at one point. So we're going to have to get the hose, the protective sleeve back over that. Make sure we're not getting any leaks from that coupler that somebody replaced, and get this clamped down a little bit better. Looks like some zip ties have been cut over the years. This side's not looking so bad. It still has its protective sleeve over it. Everything's still clamped down on this side. So that looks good as far as visually. We'll go up with this car, get some jacks under here, and we'll just kind of take you through step by step. So when I talked to the customer over here, he told me that he had sent this into another company to swap out the airbags. So that makes me assume that is why we have a coupler here. Instead of them dropping the airline all the way down and actually just pulling it from the main bag, they decided it was easier just to cut it. Also, I just noticed this is loose, so we're gonna go ahead and get everything tightened up, which kind of scares me a little bit because obviously everything was good, but same thing here. This side looked like it's never been tightened. You could tell it was tightened at one point, so obviously when we did the install a long time ago, 13 years ago, it was tightened, but they probably never tightened it back up when they replaced out the bags recently. Oh, and there's another coupler right here, and we don't normally do this, so yeah, I'm gonna assume that they just felt like it was easier just to cut it. So we're gonna go ahead. I mean, it's not a bad thing to use these here. It's just I normally don't like using them just because the metal tends to attract more heat closer to the manifold than the actual nylon line. Having this protective sleeve over it is great. It's a great preventive way to keep bubbling from happening. So that's good, but we're gonna have to obviously address all this, which scares me because if that's loose, that means the bag might be loose as well. And all right, so I was out with the FedEx rep right now, but Vic has been over here working away on this car, and he's saying that he found a few things. What'd you find so far?
Leaks.
Q, Vic, Q, talk.
Loose bolts.
So you got some loose bolts, which we saw that earlier, but you have a leak. Where's the leak coming from?
On the union.
So the union that got added.
Valves.
So that side's good though?
That side's good.
That side's good, this side's leaking?
That side's leaking.
Okay. And then the valves, are those the new valves that the customer already has in? Or does someone work on them?
Both of them, both sides.
They're-
It's leaking both sides.
Both sides? Okay. So looks like we got a lot of work ahead of us. A lot of redo, because it seems to be all the stuff that's got issues. That's stuff that's got worked on has had a few issues. So we just kind of ran through between me and Vic real quick and to see how much issues is going on, or how many issues are going on. And it's not horrible, but it's also not great either. So these are 5-gallon Hoosier tanks that were installed 13 years ago, which are actually still in really, really good shape. The only thing that's worrying me a little bit is I'm seeing rust coming out of the bottom of the tank already, which means either there's a pinhole at the bottom of these tanks now, or when they're draining them, that rust is coming out. So the valves, he's already having issues with leaks on the valves. So I'm gonna give the customer a call right now, because I think it's just gonna be best to replace all the valves in the 2 tanks. Because at this point right now, if we replace just the valves, and the tanks do have rust in it, over time, that rust is gonna travel through the lines and go into the valves. So then we're gonna have issues there, and he's gonna be right back over here again. At 13 years, this guy's got a lot of life out of this car already. So I think it's time to invest a little bit into just kind of a little redo. Not a redo in general, but just an update as far as tanks and valving. Other than that, the bags are brand new. Obviously, we have to go through and tighten everything because whoever touched it last didn't tighten anything. The unions are leaking. We got to fix the leaks so anything that's got touched in the last few years is having issues. But I think we're just gonna go through and just kind of put brand new stuff in it, because 13 years is a long time. So I'm gonna give the customer a call and see what's going on, and we'll just go from there. So all day I've been kind of stuck on the phone fixing this machine. So that one, finally, after a good 3 or 4 hours probably on the phone with one of our tech guys, it's been a great help because we have finally got a functional piece off of here. So we got some battery racks off there. I was definitely hoping to be a lot further along on this Impala, on the 63, but the guys are jumping on it right now. They're gonna be getting it all torn apart. We did talk to the customer already. He gave us the green light to just go ahead and fix anything that we see. Anything that is wrong with it. I let him know the issues we saw. I let him know what things could be changed to prevent issues like that. And he's happy. So we're gonna get that going. At the same time, I am cutting up a whole bunch of battery racks because we haven't been able to bend them because of that machine. So now that we're up and running, time to get bending. We got a lot of work ahead of us.
Artbusher on the track. Artbusher on the track.
Alright guys, so I'm going to get you up to speed real quick of what we've been doing, what's got done to it, what have we fixed, and what did we leave. So pretty much what we did is we ran through, Vic started on the back side, I started on the front side. I pulled the bags out completely, checked all the bolts, Loctited the bolts, checked the air lines. The bags are already fairly new, so we left those alone. We did change out all the hardware on the lower bags, bag brackets. We also changed out the hardware on the upper bag bracket. We also changed out all the couplers that they had in the front because those ones were leaking. So all those already got updated. From there, I worked my way on the bottom side of the car and I worked my way all the way back. I checked out the airline, make sure everything was still clamped up, make sure there was no abrasions on it, make sure nothing looked cut. Everything looked really good still. Everything still had the original clamps from when we did it way back in the day. Everything was still, clamped up nice and tight. Then from there, what we did is Vic was reworking all brand new valves because the old valves had leaks in between all the fittings, but at 13 years old, it just wasn't worth trying to clean them up, fix them. Plenty of life out of 13-year-old valves. So what we did is put all brand new valves, all brand new fittings. Also, he's updating the wiring a little bit on the backside just to get everything clamped up and just pretty much so it doesn't dangle. So now with him doing the front valves and the back valves on each side of the quarter panels in the rear, in the meantime, I was working on putting brand new tanks. So originally he had still 5-gallon Hoosier tanks in there. So what we did is we actually put 5-gallon aluminum tanks in there. That way he doesn't have to worry about the rust issues again, and hopefully he'll get another 10, 15 years out of this air ride setup. So his compressors that he had in here were still working. So with new fittings, new tanks, new valves, and pretty much updating some of the wiring on the backside, all new hardware, this system should be pretty much brand new. So what we're doing now is I'm waiting for some paint to dry. Once that's all dry, my tanks are ready to drop in there. I did update them with some new filters on the compressors as well because I don't know how old those are. So we put brand new fresh filters in there. Other than that, we are, I'm going to say probably about 2.5 hours from being finished up here. Once everything gets dropped in, then that's when the time really starts ticking because we're going to get it up. We're going to test the functions of everything, make sure everything's good. While it's under pressure, we're going to go through and double check all the nuts and bolts that we already tightened. Also Loctite any last minute stuff we have to Loctite as well. So everything's looking really good, guys. So for right now, I'm sitting here literally watching paint dry, and nothing I can do until this dries. Paint's taking too long, we're moving too fast, and everything's looking good. So I'll catch you guys on the next time lapse.
My appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry.
Oh. In, we got the tanks in, we got all the fittings tightened, we got new airline from the tank, jumpers from tank down, all new airline. We also had to extend out some of the wires, so we ran new wiring for the compressors. Checked the Pack 80, Pack 80 was looking good. And then we also tightened up the opposite side over here too. So all new fittings, all new hardware, new nuts, new bolts. And then we clamped everything across. Everything looks good. Well, the last thing we're waiting for is Vic to finish up on the bottom side. He's on the last side right now. So everything's looking good so far. So we should be able to test within the next hour or so. We'll get this guy up on air and then do the good old soap and water trick and try to check for leaks. Crossing our fingers we don't have anything, and then just leave it, go from there. Next step is just leave it up overnight, 24 hours, check for leaks. If you have a leak, address it, and then keep going. No, we're not done. Almost.
Oh yeah,
Almost done. This is the first cycle going on to these two tanks. The whole new setup here. So we're gonna do a cycle run real quick. Make sure everything turns on and off. We're also gonna be timing it and checking everything for leaks right now. Right now, we still have everything up on jack stands. Once we get air into the system, we're gonna hit everything up. We won't do that until we know that the tanks and everything cycle and the PSI switch is working properly. Once we get everything to cycle and we do a leak test on the actual tank and the valves again, we did, well actually Vic did, the leak test prior to putting the valves in. That way, we try to eliminate having leaks there because it's a pain in the butt to try to take those back down if you do have a leak there. So, and the tanks, everything should be good, but crossing our fingers, you never know. We got a few little pieces we gotta zip up. Other than that, just a leak test. So once we get that going, we're pretty much gonna be in the clear to get this thing on the ground and then just do a final tighten on everything. So everything's been good so far. We did have one leak real quick. I had to actually run to go grab some more soap and water, or some more soap. We ran out. So we made it back. We fixed that one leak. We cycled the car again. Everything's looking good. Everything's been tightened and finalized. Right now what we're working on is getting the mufflers dialed in. So Vic is actually under there right now. We just went in 5 turns. It was still too fast. So we're doing it 5 more turns real quick, and we're gonna see how this reacts. All right, so we just did another 5 more turns, and still too fast. So we're gonna turn it down a few more, and then we're just gonna keep adjusting till we're able to get an even drop in the back. Something to where when the customer came in, it's about the same speed. We don't want it to be any faster or any slower. So that's what we're working on now. So Vic's getting it dialed in real quick. And we're just waiting. All right, guys, so she is on the ground. Mufflers have been dialed in to a nice and slow speed. And when I'm saying mufflers, I'm referring to the exhaust port mufflers, not like the actual car mufflers, for you guys that don't know. So those are all dialed in. We went back and forth trying to get the right speed on that. So that's all good. Compressors are good. We were kind of see the fan here. We were running them and running them and running them. So we just wanted to let it relax for a little bit. Didn't want it to get too hot. So we tossed the fan on it. I'm actually gonna toss the charger on the car right now just because we ran it for a while, obviously inside without the battery, without the car running. So we're gonna do that, and then we'll get some good action shots for you guys and show you guys what this kit's all about. You guys have it. We are all done with the 63 now. Again, this was equipped with our front back side to side kit using 2 5-gallon aluminum air tanks. As far as the valves, it's all 3/8 valves with 1/2-inch line. Each set of valves are fed from each tank. The tank is sharing, but it is running at 200 psi here. But it is running our Hoppo's universal bags and also our Hoppo's 58 to 64 Impala bracket kit. So everything you see there is available on our website. It is actually one of our most popular kits because it is still pretty quick for air ride. So there you guys have it. It is late. It is a little cloudy in here as well. All the guys are gone. I just want to get this guy finished up. I was also cutting some more frame kits on the laser, so I want to get that all done. But we are all done. We're out of here. I'm gonna let this guy cycle, call it a night. So thank you guys always for liking, sharing, and subscribing. We'll see you guys on the next one. Again, I'm Alex from Hoppo's. If you guys need anything from the website, www.hopposonline.com. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.